Alright, g'day once again. Craig's been back into the wagon. He's been kind enough to send us some footage through, so we've got a little update on that old girl. Let's go and check it out.
Rightio, so we've done our chassis rails now, both sides. They were a bit rusty and cracked. I didn't realise until I pulled the K-frame out, as I think I was mentioning. But anyway, they're repaired now. So what I've done is I've hit everything with some aqua clean, given it a good scuff up, because I'm actually going to give these a paint with rust seal, and I'm going to use a brush. I'm not using a gun to do it. It does level it all right. We're going to see how it looks. This thing isn't going to be a show car. I just want it nice and tidy. You may see it at the drags, might even see it at the burnout comp at the summer nets yet. I'm not sure. See how things travel and how well I can get things built, and see if my diff is done in time. But we should have it on the road well before then. So anyway, the reason why I'm going to brush this and not use a spray gun, a couple of reasons. It self-levels, as I was mentioning, but there's that much dirt and dust inside this thing. I'm not going to bother hitting it with a gun and then it'll just spray shit everywhere. So, it'll be what it'll be. But still should come up pretty tidy. So anyway, a little bit of a repair here. I think someone had a 4-speed in this when I got it. It's not a factory 4-speed car, so factory 4-speed's got a little plate there. And when you don't have the plate, the torque of the Z bar over time it just flexes and cracks that. So anyway, weld that up. That's done, and we'll move on and post a pic when it's done. Okay, so we're getting ourselves set up to get the diff out, and then we'll continue on prepping underneath the floor pan and get it all nice and clean, and we'll give it some KBS love. So in the meantime, what I did, that's the patina finish I did on the chassis rails. Come up pretty good. I also decided to do under the tunnel here as well, and this is the other side as well. They've got the K-frame in there now just for a bit of counterweight. It was a bit light in the front. So moving along, here's our floor pan here. Just got to give it a clean already. That's just with a bit of car wash and a scrubbing brush, and then we'll move on and put a bit of aqua clean onto that. But the chassis rails connectors are in. They were from Adrian at SSD Performance. Thanks again, mate, for looking after me. You can get these off him. I think they're about $415 or something like that on SSD Performance's webpage. Just look that up and you'll find it. Or maybe Coops can throw a link into that. Good man, Coops. We love you. So, important thing to remember when you're putting these in is that I'm pretty sure Adrian said he took the mould out of a VJ. Now, I know there's a little bit of difference between a VJ and the CL or later model floor pans and that. So this did need a bit of trimming. Wasn't just a put in and weld it up. So if you buy a set, don't think you're just going to sit them in there and weld them up. Now you may have to trim some more than others. Not sure, but this, once it's trimmed up and you spend a little bit of time, they come up really nice, and a good product all round, really. I'll have a look on the other side here. So that's all in and done. Now moving back here a bit further, this is what we're tearing out. This is the old Borgie. Now I did have a bit of a heavy duty yoke on that, didn't I? Running something else that this diff wasn't really meant to carry. Anyway, so we're just going to give it all up a clear, get all the muck and that out from underneath it, and same thing. Do it in a section. Do this back part here, then I'll do the rear part later. And JMac diff gear. Those boys are all the blokes in Sydney, and mate, he's doing a diff, knows his gear, and does a good job. So hopefully that'll turn up in the next couple of weeks, and we'll have that in, and yeah, we might keep moving forward with this thing. Okay, so just a quick one on the patina finish. I'm pretty sure I might have said patina earlier, but I probably did. It's patina. So just to touch on that, I didn't go into how I did it. I wasn't entirely sure if it was going to come up as good as I hope. Yeah, I think it came up pretty good. So if you're wondering how I did it, what I used was the original, the KBS, just the rust seal. I roughed it back with some 320. I then sprayed some with this stuff on it, some hammered copper and primer. So used that, sprayed it on light, let it dry, then did a heavier coat in the spots that I wanted the effect on. And while it was still tacky, I then put some of the crystal turquoise over the top of that. I just got some mixed up in a pressure pack can. It was easy then having to mask everything up, and as I was saying before, I didn't want to blow dust and dirt everywhere, so I just used that, nor did I want to have to mask off everything else in the shed. So used that, and then when it was still wet, I just got some soapy water. I just used some car wash in a spray bottle and sprayed it on, and then got a microfiber cloth and just pushed it on in spots to give me, you know, the sort of effect here and along there and these little spots like that. So that's what I used to do that. Anyway, moving forward through here, I've just put some of the aqua clean down under here because I'm going to go through now and clean it all up. Yep, another rust hole. And yeah, I'll put the same rust seal under here and just leave it. So a couple of coats here. I will give it a get into it with a brush soon. And this is what we got going on under here. Diffs out, so you can sort of see how filthy dirty it is. And look at, as I said, it's a pretty solid car all in all. But like, you know, like all of them, they do tend to rust out just in different spots. But if you can see that real well, I mean, that's clean. I just dropped the diff and fuel tank out of it. So anyway, we'll get into it, give it a clean. Haven't been filming a lot of that stuff just because I think it's fairly boring sort of stuff, just cleaning and painting. But we'll keep you updated as I go along. Okay, so we're all cleaned up, ready to put some Rust Blast on now. So I use the Aqua Clean and give this a good rub down. I used some 120 just sandpaper first, then I used the Aqua Clean over the top of that with some red Scotch Brite and just really spent a couple of hours sanding and giving it a clean to come up to that. That's the other side. So it's important to know that you really got to give it a rough up with 320 or, I reckon 240, 120 works pretty good if you're just going to brush it on like I'm going to the rust seal. Otherwise it won't bite in and it doesn't actually stick properly. So there you go, that's it. And now we'll give a bit of a paint up. I'm only going to do both sides and the chassis connectors. I'm going to leave the middle bit bare until I come through and then clean all this up. So this was a bit of an idea of what it looked like before I started. So we'll get into this as soon as I've done all that and post that up. Rightio, so floor pan is done. It's all been coated up, second coat. Took about 4 hours from sort of start to finish by the time you sand it all and prep it all up so it's going to bite in properly. But come up pretty well again, just used a brush. So I will say though, when you put a wagon up on the hoist and you want to take the engine out and you drop the K-frame out like I did, you're probably going to want to put something under the back of it. I did have this chocked up, a little bit of a gap though, and when I took the K-frame out, yeah, it lifted at the back. Man, I think my sphincter took a bite out of my underpants, but yeah, it scared the absolute shit out of me. So make sure you put a stand under them. If you don't have one, get one.
All right, once again, Craig's done some great work there on the old girl. It'll be awesome to see it on the road. I reckon it'll have a little bit of punch too, just quietly. But anyway, be good to see. Thanks, mate, for sharing it with us. Hey, top job. So on another note, Valiant info base. So if you've got a wild chariot and you want some information on it, or you just want to register it with the info base, Bill is the man to talk to. He's got the build sheets on most of the late model stuff. He can tell you how many of them were built in that combo and sometimes where it was sold from, you know. So if you want some information on your Valiant and a bit of history, talk to this bloke. He's a champion. I've been asked about it a couple of times lately, so I figured I'd just whack that up there. And yeah, if you want to know something about your Val, give him a call. He's got a lot of records for him. So thanks, Bill. And again, thanks, Craig, sharing that with us. That's going to be a cool old thing, that wagon. So yeah, cheers, mate. All right, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share it around, and have a good one. Cheers. Big bloke putting on the show for the ladies. They're a beautiful bird. Look at that, he's eagles. Check me out. Yeah, good on you, dude. Show him off. You got it, flying it. He's the man. That's right, everything. Beautiful. Love to see him get his tail out. There they go. Making a racket. Anyway, gorgeous birds.